Hey, you guys, welcome. Today, I want to talk to you guys about why free is standing in the way of you and your business flourishing. So, for those of you who are watching me or seeing me for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is Sonia Tompkins, and I'm a business strategist and success coach for female entrepreneurs. And today, I'm a little tongue-tied, but nevertheless, we're going to get into some good information that I sincerely hope is going to empower you to think about the way that you're showing up for yourself, for your business, and what things you really need to focus on to push the needle forward so that you can get the results that you want. And what brought this conversation on actually is based on a discussion I was having with a peer of mine over the weekend. And we particularly were talking about things like Facebook groups, network events, and things like that, which are free, and why that is really hurting a lot of people that we see in our communities and our audience. So when I talk about free standing in the way of you or your business flourishing, like I'm being very literal here. Like a lot of my clients and people who come to me have been spending way too much time, months, years even, utilizing the free model to propel their goals, whether they're personal goals or business goals. And I'm telling you right now, you guys, some of this is standing in the way of you. This has been what has been stopping you, that the very way that you think you've been educating yourself, preparing yourself, and getting ready to do the things you want to do, whether that's starting a business, grow your business, work on a goal for yourself or whatever, it's really been hindering you. So I want to jump into the first way that free is standing in the way. Now, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today, again, is going to be focused on things like Facebook groups, free Facebook groups, free networking events, and just other kinds of free communities, okay? So the very, excuse me, first way that is standing in your way and keeping you from flourishing, you guys, is because a lot of these free communities and groups and events that you are participating in, you're in them with people who are your peers, okay? But more importantly, they're your peers that you don't really know that well. And the reason this is hurting you is because when you are not comfortable around the people that you're with, it is very difficult, if not damn near impossible, to be vulnerable and or coachable, okay? Because when I say the word vulnerable here, I don't mean, you're opening yourself up and, because a lot of times that scares people, but I mean, you're not even coachable. So you're in this free Facebook group, you're in this environment, you're at this networking event with your chamber or whatever, and because you're because you're not comfortable, you don't know these people on any sort of intimate level, we tend to put up the wall, right? So you go to these events, y'all can pop up in the comments and share right now, how many times have you been to an event, a networking event, and you show up and the people there have their face on? What do I mean by that? I mean, they got that wall up, that invisible wall. They got their face on, and everybody's like real, like, uptight. And even though they may be nice, right? I'm not saying that people are mean, but they got their face on, or maybe you've got your face on. So we're talking about, and amongst the peers, and everyone's talking about what they're doing, what they offer, why they're in business, or why they're doing the thing that they're doing. But nobody is standing up saying, you know what? Nobody's walking into a free networking event and being like, you know what? I'm having a real hard time making some money in my business, and I was wondering, what your thoughts are. Like, how many times is that happening in a networking event or at your local chamber of commerce meeting? People aren't doing that because everybody's coming with the face on. Even in free Facebook groups, you may be in these groups and it's like 100 people, it's 1,000 people, it's 2,000 people in this group. And unfortunately, and it's not by design, you guys, it's not that anybody is setting this stuff up this way. It's just kind of what happens through human nature. You are going into these free Facebook groups, and what you really are needing is specific guidance and help And what you end up doing is trying to duplicate what you see other people do in the free Facebook group, which is promote your thing, promote your service. So you're showing up with not even an aligned purpose in the free Facebook group, right? How many times have you joined a Facebook group with the intention of, okay, I'm going to join this group so I can get some more clients or get some more customers? But you're not even in the right Facebook group for that. You're in a Facebook group full of other business owners, right? Who, let's say the Facebook group is called how to make more profit in 10 days, whatever, right? And you join the Facebook group because you're like, oh my God, yeah, I definitely want to make more profits in the next 10 days. So you join that Facebook group. But then you get in the group, and instead of showing them and say, you know what, guys, here's what I've tried, in my business, and this is what I've had success with, this is what I've not had success with. I'm really looking for some help because, not having the right amount of profits in my business is really starting to affect my marriage. Actually showing up and letting people know like what your problems, what your challenges are, and where you need help. You're showing up waiting for the promotion day so you can promote your thing, your service, your product, your offer. And first of all, you're not going to get a steady stream of customers that way because you're in a group full of your peers and not people who are the best fit to be your clients. But number two, you're not going to get the help that you need, which is why you joined the free Facebook group in the first place. And so you spent all these months kind of watching what other people are asking for, what they're saying. Maybe you will drop a question in there. Maybe you are in there dropping questions consistently because you are that rare person who is showing up in a very vulnerable, coachable way in this free Facebook group, but you're not getting the answers that you want or that you can really utilize, because then that brings me to number two. When you are in these free communities, these free Facebook groups, these free networking events, you guys, you cannot get the kind of consistent and detailed mentorship or guidance that you really, really want and that will really push your business forward, because the expert who is running that group or the person who designed that event or the people up on the panels, they have gotten to a point in their business where they understand and they are comfortable with, and they prioritize their business and how they operate their business in a way that really serves them and the people who they have dedicated or committed their time to. What do I mean by that? Let me just wrap it up for you. Let me make it real simple. As a consultant, a coach, an expert, a mentor, it is my job to show up 100% for my business and for my clients. My clients who have dedicated themselves and invested in themselves and committed themselves to a process to go from A to C in the quickest amount of time possible, with the most alignment possible and the most ease. That is absolutely how I run my business in 2020, right? I have learned that over time. So for me, and if you've been a part of my community for a while, you guys know I have had free Facebook groups. I answer a ton of DMs and instant messages. I give a lot to my community. However, there is a point where I cannot continue to give that time, give that energy, give that information away in a free capacity, in a free group to people all the time, not because I don't care, but because I have learned that in order for my business to flourish, I'm telling you right now, like, this is what it is. It's not that they don't care. It's not that, again, no one is sitting around going, I'm going to purposely not give good information or share in when I go to this event or when I'm in this group or whatever, not because I'm being people are being malicious or anything like that, you guys. It's just because that anyone who has gotten to that level in their business, they understand that they cannot flourish and really show up for their community the way that they need to, that their community needs them to, if they're spending a lot of their time in the free zone, right? The time that people are spending in a free group giving away tips and information and strategies, they're taking that time away from the clients who have stood up, raised their hand and said, you know what, I'm ready specifically to get the information, the help, the services, the offers, the products, whatever it is for myself that I know I need. And that expert, that mentor, that coach, that consultant has a obligation, right? A moral and contractual obligation to really spend the majority of their time in their business, and that in their client or customer part of their business, getting that information and that energy to those clients. Also, the time that we're in Facebook groups, or this is why even super high level and very visible coaches and experts that you guys may see out here, say like a Tony Robbins or, you know, an Oprah, a Marie Forleo. Everybody who just decides they want to work with someone like that, they're not going straight from, I think I want to work with Tony Robbins to booking an appointment with Tony Robbins. You know what I mean? There's levels to that. And the reason why is because Tony Robbins understands that for a variety of reasons, and that's a whole nother video, but you're not going to go from, oh, I think I want to work with Tony Robbins to being on a phone call with Tony Robbins, you know, whenever you feel like it. It just doesn't work that way. And I'm going to keep saying this because I want you guys to understand that leaders, experts, we are not out here withholding information. It's just that we understand that the time that we're spending running our business in the best capacity is time that we are spending away from our families or from our personal goals that we have for ourselves. And therefore, if we're going to be taking time away from our families and from our personal goals, we have to be making the best use of our time, which is, if I'm going to be taking time away from my family or myself, then I need to be making sure that I am cultivating and really pouring into those who have committed to themselves and their own process, right? And then, yes, I still give free information. I still post on my Instagram, my Facebook page with information that's useful and helpful. Videos like this, free trainings like this, helping people to become self-aware and understand why certain things that they're doing in their business isn't helping. This is all free information, you guys. This is not something I'm charging for, but I don't do this on a consistent everyday basis because I do have clients. And you need to understand that for yourself and take this example as something that you can also use for your business. You cannot afford, and I'm not meaning this necessarily on a financial level, but you cannot afford energetically to be spending your time doing things that aren't productive for your business. And yet you can still serve, you can still be helpful, you can still be available for those who need what you have, but there's a process and figuring out that process and how you need to do that so that you can still maximize your time and your profitability for your business is really essential. And then the other thing, I'm just going to kind of backpedal a little bit here when I was talking about being not being coachable or vulnerable. That was really like number 1 and 2 put together, because again, when you're not coachable in a certain environment because you've got your face on, because you don't feel, you're not comfortable enough to feel vulnerable in certain spaces because they're usually your peers, which is the second thing, that just starts you off on a journey that's probably not going to be most productive. And then when it comes to being in the groups or in networking events, and you do have those times where, because I have certainly been to events or been in Facebook groups, I've made some friends, I've met people who have definitely helped me throughout my business that I didn't pay for and things like that, but it took time, because real relationships, right? Real authentic relationships where people definitely, where they feel the give and take, where they want to share information, you guys share information with one another. That is a relationship, and that's totally fine. It's totally normal. I love when that happens, but it's a very organic thing and you can't rush it. And again, that is standing in the way of you getting from A to C or A to D in a very streamlined process. even as a coach or consultant who has a lot of free information out there, there's no way that in a Facebook group or an event where you have 150, 300 people, where that coach or mentor, even if they want to, can give you consistent and strategic advice or guidance on your particular business, you guys, because there's so many people. If they were doing that for everyone in the group, there's no way that they could give you actionable steps that are actually going to help you push the needle forward. So when it comes to these free environments and groups, understand that yes, they have benefits and there is a time and place for it, but understand where you are in your business. This is why one of the biggest, one of the things that I teach and I talk about a lot in my content, you guys, is being self-aware and making sure that you're running a business that is in alignment. Okay, you have to be aware enough in yourself and your business and where you are to understand, is that even the right route for you at this time? Maybe when you were first trying to decide, like, oh, I wonder what other people's experiences were with this, that, and the third. Let me jump in this Facebook group. Maybe I could ask some questions, just get some insight. But even that, you guys, can be a little bit tricky because one person's experience is just that. Unless someone is there working with you in totality, the way I work with my clients is really looking at not just their business goals, but also their life goals, their life circumstances and situations, and then helping them create the strategy that works for both of those two things. Because if you just focus on a business strategy, and whoever you're talking to, or when my clients are talking to me, I have zero idea about what's going on in their life, then we can come up with the best strategy in the world. We come up with an excellent strategy, but if it doesn't align with who they are as people and how it fits into their lifestyle, it's not going to work. So you taking advice or an experience that someone else in your community, a peer, had, how is that working? How that works for them does not mirror what's going to work for you, because you guys don't have the same circumstances, not just in the business, but in your life. So anyway, if you found this helpful, if you want to take this deeper, if you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a little bit what I've been doing, or that's the route I was thinking I was going to take, I want to encourage you to take the shortest route possible and really start focusing on where you are as an individual, as a woman. Most of my clients, most of the people who are here watching me are women, so that's why I'm using that pronoun. But taking stock and inventory of who you are as a woman, as a person first, then taking stock of your lifestyle and your goals, your personal goals, and then your business. That's the framework that I teach. That's how I've been able to build successful businesses, a string of them in multiple different industries over the course of 20 plus years, you guys, even as things have changed, evolved, grown, or just shifted in my personal life, is that I understand how to make certain decisions based on where I am and the goals that I eventually want to get to. If that sounds like you, if you want to know more about that, you can head over to soniatompkins.com. If you don't know how to spell my name, you can look at the top of the video, but soniatompkins.com/soul first. And you can learn more about how we can work together now or in the very near future. And I'd love to see how we can connect there. So also, if you're watching this as a replay, feel free to continue to add your comments. Let me know what points of this really resonated with you the most. I still answer comments and respond back, even if you are not watching this live. So wherever you are watching, I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.